Hi, I'm Sumaya O'Grady, Oracle Priestess, and that just means that I've trained myself to receive higher guidance from the divine realms and from my higher self. And I want to share with you some deeper insights that I recently received about what I call the comparison game. And the real reason for how we're getting sucked into negative comparison with others. And this reason is not what you might think. I also received some very powerful tips. They're spiritual actions that you can take to stop that negative spiral, empower yourself, and heal. Now, comparing yourself to other people, to someone who, maybe you're comparing yourself to someone who seems to be more attractive, more together, more talented, or whatever, this becomes a downward spiral, and it feels really awful, right? I imagine that you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a whole thought pattern that leads to depression, self-criticism, feelings of unworthiness, all kinds of bad stuff. So let's take a deeper look at what's happening here, because it's probably not due to your personal issues. It's due to something in the bigger picture and the other forces that are at play that are outside of you. Let me explain. Most likely you are a light worker, and that's probably why you were drawn to this video. Now, a light worker is not necessarily your profession, it's just who you are in the world. It's the light that you bring to wherever you are. And that's your, what I call your beingness. By being who you are, you bring your unique vibration into the world, and that's powerful. Now, maybe you're feeling a little too modest to admit that that's what you're really doing. However, it's true. We live in a powerful time, and the planetary consciousness is rising, and we as inhabitants of Gaia, we are also rising. Our frequency is shifting and changing, and sometimes it's really uncomfortable, but it's happening. So things are speeding up, and the things that might have taken years of spiritual progress now happen in just months. You've probably noticed that too. It's quite a wild ride that we're on. Now, there are some negative forces here on planet Earth that have a stake in keeping we human beings from rising into our ascension. They do not want this positive change to happen. These powerful shadow groups and institutions want us to feel bad, to be miserable, sick, unhealthy, because that is the source of their power and their money. It's a creepy thought, I know. I thought it was creepy when I first heard it. So as we step into our empowerment more deeply, they might be stepping up their game too. So given that, the negative thoughts that are coming into your head are most likely not coming from inside you, but from outside you. When I first understood this, I didn't really know what to make of it. It was scary. I first learned this from a Sufi master, which is, Sufism is a really ancient Middle Eastern mystical tradition. And now these teachings are coming into our era now, and many people are beginning to understand that what is going on is it's not inside, it's outside. Where personal responsibility comes in is what I'm going to talk about next. You see, that little voice inside your head comes from energies, negative energies in your field, and fake news, negative media campaigns, and all those terrible advertisements that make you feel like you have to be more attractive, slimmer, sexier, have a better car, and more toys, right? Consume, consume. So the first thing to do is to notice what you're thinking when this comparison stuff comes up. When you notice, when you catch that thought, this is a powerful golden moment. This is when you begin to step into your sovereignty as a human being. And when you notice the negative thoughts, tell yourself, you are not my thoughts. Leave now. Sounds simple. The only thing hard about it is just remembering. And when you remember to do it, you will begin to see a gradual change. It takes a little time and effort to build a habit like this, but it's so well worth it. And here's my third tip. Don't get sucked in. It's really tempting to buy into these thoughts because they seem to ring true. They seem like there's something from your personal history. For example, you might think, well, the reason I'm critical of myself is because I had critical parents. Well, okay, maybe that was true, but actually that experience is just a doorway through which these negative energies can stream in. It's their hook. They catch you where you're the most vulnerable. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you, because this is empowering knowledge, and it's about your healing. When you start kicking these thoughts right out of your head, that's when you are no longer a victim of negative thoughts and feelings that weren't even yours to begin with. Imagine that. So now I want to cover just one more thing about this whole comparison game. Let's say that you're a healer and you hear that there's another healer out there who's doing amazing work. You might be thinking, oh, well, I'm just not as good as they are, and then that whole cycle of negative stuff starts happening. Well, here's the real truth about that situation. You are here in this world to be you, and only you. You have your unique gifts and talents, your unique spiritual vibration. You came in with it from the divine realm, and no one else can express that but you. And the other people that you're comparing yourself with, well, they have their own vibration, their own uniqueness, and they came in to express that. To use an analogy, you can't beat them at their game because it's not yours. You have your own game to play. And that's really all you can do, is to do that the best way that you can. So here is a master key. When you catch yourself being sucked into comparison, immediately shift your focus into remembering your uniqueness and appreciating your light. Grab a journal and start writing in it, and write line after line about all the things you appreciate about yourself. Now, maybe at first you won't even believe it. But here's the thing. The more you write all these things, the more your mind begins to believe it, because you're saying it. And that's where the extra power comes in. So this is a double whammy. You get to pull yourself out of the negative spiral, and you get to lift yourself up with lots of self-appreciation that will actually raise your spiritual frequency. If you have questions about this, I would love to hear from you. Post a comment or ask a question here on my Facebook page. And in a few weeks, I'll be doing a longer webinar where I'll go deeper into this whole journey into sovereignty, empowerment, and spiritual growth. It's a free webinar. So I'll post the time and date on my Facebook page, Shining Your Light. Meanwhile, go to my website for my free gifts and my other offerings. And there, excuse me, you can learn about some of the other spiritual tools that I offer. It's souldeepconfidence.com. I'm Sumaya O'Grady, Oracle Priestess. Many blessings on your journey.